This is Michael Bean. You can find more about my acting classes at michaelbean.ca or saltspringacting.com. It's a quick overview of what I think is the most effective way to prepare dialogue for film and TV scene. And the short version is that you want to rehearse it as factual. So for years, I would advise people rehearsing flat, and what would happen is people would come in and have accidentally rehearsed in this kind of like robotic or flat intonation. What I learned in that process is that we are so inherently musical that by accident, if you rehearse lines the way that you intend to speak them, then the first read will often sound really honest, and maybe even the second and the third, and then it very slowly starts to unconsciously get into this pattern where you are simply repeating the intonation that you had the first or second or third time that you went through it. And so the way around that and the way to approach it is to approach it as information and as factual. So let me give you an example. This is a piece of text. I deliberately chose something complicated as a monologue that I have been meaning to start prepping for a while, so I don't know this yet. It's from a play. And so the very first time that I read this, and I'm just going to do the first couple of lines as a demo for you. The very first time that I read it, I stay right on the page and I read it as factual. With a play, you get instructions, stage directions, dialogue. Someone clothes you, tells you where to be and when. You get to live the most intense moments of life over and over again with all the boring bits left out. This is from the play People, Places, Things by Duncan Macmillan, by the way. Amazing play. Oh my God. So the first time I read it, I just read it right off the page. Now, what is likely to happen if I say that, and probably it'll happen even right now in a subtle way if you really listen to it, if I say, with a play you get instructions, 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 and it's starting to have this da-da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-dum. And what will happen is even subtly, that will rehearse into the line and will interfere with it sounding like I'm really talking. And especially for film and TV acting, the most important thing is that when we watch it, we feel like this is just you talking what you wanted to say, even though of course they are lines and you have rehearsed them. So the way that I typically advise approaching this is treat it as factual. This is just a factual thing. So I'm not going with a play you get instructions, because then that's going to stick. I'm not being a robot, but I'm just like, it's just a fact. With a play you get instructions. And I'm not, in fact, maybe I'm even deliberately trying to avoid saying it the same way each time so that when I get direction, I can be like, isn't this amazing thing? With a play you get instructions. And then if whoever's working with me, if the acting teacher, or if I'm exploring it myself, and I'm, that doesn't seem right, and it's more like, God, I'm so confused about life. And then it's like, with a play you get instructions. But I'm not rehearsing in any one of those deliveries because, especially at the beginning, that's going to narrow my options. And what I want is to get those facts of the lines in my brain just as ideas, just as facts, and then from there, then start to explore that imaginary world that I'm in. So especially if you were coming in for a workshop, like some of the folks I'm hoping watch this video will be doing on Tuesday, my recommendation is learn those lines as facts, and then we can really like play and explore once you get to the workshop. So the first time I'm just on the page, maybe the second or third time I'm on the page, and then what I'm going to start to do is sight reading it. So I'm going to look down for it, and then I'll look up and say it. And I'm going to practice never speaking while looking down, because if I practice, if when I'm practicing, I'm looking at the page and reading it, that's not going to help me in performance. And this frees me from feeling like I have to memorize everything. I'm basically just getting very good at recognizing it. And if it sticks in your memory, or memorizing comes easily with this particular piece of text to you, great, but also not necessary to do the job. So with a play, you get instructions. I pause, I look down for the next line. Stage direction, dialogue, someone clothes you, tells you where to be and when. You get to live the most intense moments of life over and over again with all the boring bits left out. So I don't know if you clocked that, but in the moment where I need to look down and I kind of was like, what do I say? Halfway through that line, I stop speaking and I wait until I'm back up to repeat the line. And it will slow you down, yes, but it will also give you practice in the same technical way that you want to be delivering the lines, which is looking at another person. And so you can pick up a spot on the wall, you can say this to a real person. It's just the practice is do not speak while looking at the text. Instead, practice, get the text in my head, look up and say it. And then in the workshop, we're going to practice more of the sight reading that will let you do that, even with the script in your hand, seamlessly on camera and look like you have memorized. But getting familiar with the text first will help a lot. I'm Michael Bean. You can check me out more at michaelbean.ca or saltspringacting.com.